Welcome to Clicks and Coffee. Today, we're honored to have Jennifer Prell, a senior housing expert and entrepreneur. Jennifer is the CEO and founder of Elderwerks Educational Services, a non-for-profit organization offering senior living coordination, advocacy, and education to older adults, senior families, and professionals. She also serves as the executive director of Safe Moves for Senior, a national non-profit that assists economically disadvantaged seniors in downsizing and moving with dignity. Jennifer brings over 2 decades of experience dedicated to enhancing the lives of seniors, and I'm excited to dive into these two incredible endeavors. Jennifer, welcome.
Thank you, Alex. I'm glad to be here.
So I was looking at your background, and it's pretty incredible. And I would like to hear a little bit about, how you started and how did you decide to go into the nonprofit, and what has evolved since you started.
Oh gosh, lots happened in the last few decades. I got older. Well, I started Elderworks because there were other organizations helping seniors out there, but they weren't focused on the senior. They were focused on the money. I've never been money oriented. I'm all about helping people. That's my fun. I love it. It's my favorite thing. So I own a pack and move company, a senior move management company called Paxum, which I've recently sold. And in in my process of running that organization, I ran into people who were helping the seniors find senior living, and I didn't like their companies. Shouldn't say that out loud, but it's true. Money oriented, not human focused. And so I said, well, I'm going to start an organization that actually wants to help seniors first, and then everything else it'll come. Everything's secondary. And so Elderworks was created as a not-for-profit because we don't focus on the money. We focus on the human aspect of it, and it's any older adult or senior who needs help. So they can be extremely wealthy or they can be extremely poor. It does not matter. It takes a lot more time to help someone without means, but they deserve the respect and dignity that anybody who's worked their whole lives deserves. And so that's where we grew from. Elderworks kind of adapted as we grew to add services because they were missed. Other social services weren't handling the calls we handle. So our calls can be anything from I have a question on Medicare, or I need to get a new license plate. How do I do that? Or I need senior housing, or my mom's failing. She's eating Snickers bars for dinner and she's not getting socialization. What do I do? Or mom shouldn't be driving. We get thousands of questions. I don't know if we've got all of the questions, but I think we've got the majority of questions on aging at Elderworks. Our team works very hard to make sure that the resources we refer are person-centered. So it could just be to age in place. How do I do that? How do I declutter? How do I stay home well? How do I financially set myself up so I can stay home to 100 if that's what you want? But our caveat is you can try to stay home as long as you want, but you have to thrive. You have to look forward to tomorrow. If you are not being social and you're not thriving, you need to consider the possibility of moving, because it's just a house. There's no fun in a house. It's the people that visit with you or hang with you or take you out. Those are your people. The house is just where you sleep. It doesn't matter. And convincing people that it's okay to move is difficult sometimes, but it's
Mhm.
very much well worth it. We get a lot of people saying, I should have done this 10 years ago. We're like, we know.
But it's difficult, when you're getting older, it's very difficult. And actually, I had one of my neighbor who every month would tell me that she wants to move, and we ended up moving before her. Uh,
That's funny.
so yeah, that was pretty funny. But she's been there, it was like 30 years she was in the same apartment, and it's just, I think it was just the idea of packing is more like the idea of preparing the move, that it's more stressful than the move itself.
It's easy. All you do is hire a senior move manager. They'll take care of everything with you or for you. You can do as much or as little as you want. The problem is wrapping your head around getting out of the house, right? What do I do with all my stuff? My children don't want it. What do I do with it? It is overwhelming. If you look at a big project as a whole, you're going to implode. You're going to go, oh my God, I'm not doing nothing. If you look at a piecemeal and you get some help in the areas you need, it's so much easier. Senior move managers, they make life beautiful, and they help anyone, senior and specialty movers. They help any age, and they help with the sorting, the packing. They hire and manage the mover. They can get you set up on the other end, or find someone to help you get set up on the other end, help clean out the house, hire an estate sale company, whatever. It's very easy. And I
And
make
that
it simple because it is simple.
and that's what you were doing before, right? You had the moving and then the estate sale, and then so now you have the moving company, which is also a non for profit. So how does those two, Elderworks and the Safe Move,
Well,
work together, and how do you?
Elderworks manages Safe Moves for Seniors Chicago chapter.
Okay.
We have not moved anyone yet because we're still working on funding, of course, because funding's so easy to get in anywhere. But we are working on getting some grants. Once we get grants, we can help offset costs for the move and the downsizing process. It's going to be between 2,000 to 5,000 a person, though, so we need a lot of income to do that. But it is, you can find an income restricted apartment. I don't like to say low income because it's very negative. I say income restricted because they've saved their whole lives and maybe they just don't have a lot of money to spend. So what? So getting the apartment's easy. It's now I know how to get my stuff there. Do I put my stuff in a garbage bag, get on a bus, and get there? Well, that's not. There's no dignity in that. And what about your furniture? What about all the other things you need? So Safe Moves for Seniors is to step up and help with the offset of the costs. We give referrals for movers and senior move managers. And there's Safe Moves for Senior chapters all over the United States. And if not, we can find senior move managers and movers that are more, affordable, if you will, that are more trustworthy because there's a lot of shysters, as you know. We don't like
Hmm.
shysters.
No, no, and that's a big issue also in the industry, is just to make sure we get trusting people, because at the end of the day, you're trusting them to move
Right.
your life,
Yep.
your physical, I would say physical life. So no.
100%. And you have to protect yourself from, we had a mover we fired who we used for 10 years because they had a document, the insurance document, they forgot to have signed. So at the end of the move, they had the woman sign it and didn't explain any of it. And they had already broken things. They broke over $6,000 worth of items. And then they're like, oh, yeah, we'll give you 30 cents per pound. Sign here. And she did because she didn't know any better. And they did it when we weren't around because they're sly. And so we fired them. The end. And we
At
covered
least
their, well,
you're
I
looking, yeah.
basically gave her $6,000 to cover the damages, even though it wasn't our damages.
That is pretty incredible. And so you cover the whole state of Illinois, correct?
We covered northern part of Illinois. Well, Elderworks covers the whole state. Yes,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
cover.
I mean, many elder work. Sorry.
Yeah, Elderworks will help anyone anywhere. We've gotten calls all over the United States, Britain, Australia, Sweden, Switzerland. It's interesting when we get calls from all over the world, but at that point we can give advice. We don't know any resources. We can just give you advice on steps on what you need to do, kind of thing. But we can help people throughout the nation. It's not hard. It's just, again, a little bit more time.
And so that is, and we're going to go back to Elderworks, but I know you're an entrepreneur and, like, always doing new things. So we were just talking before the recording about another thing that you're doing, which is the dementia reality. So can
Hmm.
you tell us a little bit? Because from what you're telling me, it sounds, pretty
It's
incredible,
amazing.
like the idea of it, and how you can understand better
Oh,
dementia.
absolutely. Dementia reality is a game changer for senior living. It really is for the those who take care of those with dementia, people living with dementia. So, dementia reality is a collaboration between Elderworks Educational Services and CJE Senior Life. We created Dementia Reality, which is virtual reality technology where we immerse you as the person with dementia, so you feel and see and hear everything they do in an environment that can be scary, right? So you really do feel what they feel. And then we also immerse you as a third person, watching a CNA interact with the person living with dementia, and they're doing the services and the care wrong. And then you see them do it right. We're teaching new memories. We're teaching empathy, better outcomes. The CNAs and the caregivers that actually go through this training find that they can do their job better. They do it faster. They do it better. The senior communities make more money that way because they're not stuck, trying to figure things out. There's less turnover because the employee's happier because they actually know how to help the person. And we have 5 modules. We just added another module for the at-home caregiver, and it is amazing. It is how to care for someone in your own home. And that is an affordable way to learn how to take care of someone. And those are amazing classes too. So Dementia Reality is the new technology in education and training. And we can do this anywhere in the United States. We could go internationally, but right now we're focusing on the US.
Yeah, there's a
And
lot of people to take care of.
yeah, we have a lot of people here, yes, but it is the best training there is available out there. I've not seen anything better. I've been through thousands of educational events because we do continuing eds at Elderworks, but it is the best training there is on dementia for sure.
Yeah, because you can experience. Because I think a lot of the issues that people have, and me including, is like sometimes we don't really understand what people are going through.
Right.
And for us, it's like, what do you mean you don't remember that? Or what do you mean you cannot do that? It's like, it's simple, but no, it's not because,
Well, yeah, and when people are in their job for a long time, they forget that they're helping
yeah,
humans sometimes. And they
true.
need that refresher that, hey, this could be your mother. This could be your grandpa. You need to treat them with respect and dignity, just like everyone else. And
Yeah,
if they're taken care of well, you're going to have less behaviors. You're going to have less problems. You're going to have an easier time in your job. That's important.
yeah,
So,
yeah. No, no, for sure. And so how does it work exactly? So let's say that, I'm Alexander Senior Living, and in Florida, since I am in
right.
Florida, and I contact you and I say, hey, I want to get the training. How does that work?
Well, basically, you register on our website. There's a site called it's ed.dementiareality.org, and you go on there and you can download the modules. They're not cheap. It is not cheap. We are doing trainings for people. We're also training trainers. So for Florida, for instance, we'd go down and train a trainer, and that trainer would teach their employees in their building.
Okay.
It's a lot less expensive and more affordable that way. It makes more sense. So you download the modules. On
So
your
it's a
computer.
virtual reality module.
Yes, there's 6 modules. You basically register, you buy them, then you get your headset, you go on Meta, you register with Meta, you download the Dementia Reality app, and then you bring them all into your headset. That's it. It's pretty easy.
Super simple.
We're
That's pretty
trying.
cool. Yeah, and no, but it's true. It's pretty cool because sometimes I would say like the big issue with virtual reality is that for a lot of things it's still kind of clunky. It's like we
Hmm.
have the game with the lightsaber. Like the people going that
Oh
with the
yeah, that's
music.
fun. Yeah,
But apart from that, it's like what do you do? And
this
so
is great
now
training.
we
It
have
is.
an amazing application that really immerse you and so how long does that training takes?
Well, there is a demo, so if you want to see it, you can see the demo. A training, if we were going to train a trainer, is a 2-day program where we use the headsets and in-class training, and then we do the training that way. So it's basically a 2-day process.
Okay, so it's not too crazy.
No. And in Illinois, if you go through the program, you also get continuing eds to go towards your licensure because we are licensed in Illinois to provide CEs, not other states, only Illinois.
No, that's really cool. But we'll make sure to link the address in the description of the podcast because I love technology,
Oh,
and I love technology that really does help. Like it's not doing technology to do technology, but really technology to make things better for us.
right,
And I've been talking to a multitude of people in all different businesses in the senior industry, and a lot of the time people are excited about technology to be able to have more time to help or more time to be with people. And I think
right,
that's going to be the big thing. I was talking to the CEO of Tapestry Living, who's putting together so it's going to be a video analytics that is going to help caring better about people, and that's going to alert that he didn't tell me too much because he's still piloting it, and we
right,
actually is going to come back on the podcast to talk about it with the founder of the company. But the idea is to really help with analytics, give better care to people in rooms, in the main living areas. There is a lot of improvement in fall detection as well, which is a big thing because
right.
senior living is 24/7 when you have a senior living community,
It
and
sure
if
is.
somebody falls in the middle of the night, who knows how long they might stay on the floor.
I
So
hope
the
not
idea
long.
is, yeah, no, exactly, but it can be, which is
Right.
what's scary. So the idea is really to use technology for that. And so you told me that also, yeah, you're pretty advanced in all your systems. So
Oh,
can you
yeah.
tell us a little bit like how do you keep up with technology, and how do you implement it in a non-for-profit, which is always a challenge because of revenue
Budget.
or your budget.
The money that we don't have because we're not a profit.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
So
great.
how do you I would say like make the most out of it, and how do you use technology to actually improve the efficiency in a non for profit?
Well, we're not a typical not-for-profit. My husband's a software architect. So I kind of fed him and he helped build my case management tool. So we have a proprietary system. It helps us match our families to services. It could be for any type of senior housing. It could be for home care. It could be for elder law attorneys. It could be for anything. We have about 60,000 contacts in there. So we pretty much know everybody in Illinois, right? We know the good, the bad, and the ugly, and our system tells us if they're good, bad, or ugly. And we avoid the non-supportive organizations. So when we're trying to help a family, all they have to do is call us or email us, preferably call us. We need to talk with the person so we know the person we're helping are persons. Everything's person-centered, so we find out what's going on. Are they living well at home? What do they need for their house to stay home? Do they need decluttering? Do they need home care? Do they need maybe some alarms in the house? Do they need a fall mat next to the bed just in case they fall out of bed? That mat will ring, things like that. There's a lot of cool technology. We do a lot of aging in place classes. We can find out if they are needing to move, we find out what their physical limitations are, what their medical conditions are. Do they have power of attorney in place for healthcare and property? Do they have trust? Do they have everything set up so they can live well for the rest of their lives? And we counsel them. So we try to make sure they have enough money to live to about 100 comfortably, because 100 is the new 80, right? So we use all their information to find the right housing for them as a person. What amenities do you want? Do you want a swimming pool? Do you want urban setting, suburban setting, high rise, small, large? What is it you want? Because it's not about me. I don't know you. Tell me what you want. And if they don't know what they want, then we just have to pull it out of them, right? It's just the right questions. What do you like doing in your house? What did you do before you did nothing in your house, right? And then we try to get them back to they're happy, whatever that is. If they're happy is just being around people, great, that's easy. If they're happy as poker or swimming or billiards or nature or pickleball, right? Active lifestyle.
That's the new one.
Pickleball's awesome. But I'll tell you right now, the fire department loves pickleball because they're there every day picking up people at the pickleball course. Our bodies don't hold out, our knees and hips. And I play pickleball. It's very fun.
I tried a couple of times. Yeah, I liked it too.
Oh, I'm terrible at it, but it's fun.
Oh, that's but so yeah, so basically you're using your husband as a software architect to
Yep.
help you kind of create processes for intake process, I would say, and then helps you match all the resources.
I designed the system and he built it. It's all behind our website. It's pretty fun. It's pretty.
Maybe that could be a new venture, systems architect for nonprofit.
I don't think so. He might kill me. He's retired now. He says, no, I don't want to do anything. He says, I don't remember any computer stuff anymore. I'm like, you're lying to me.
And do you know Parasol Alliance?
Parasol Alliance? No.
It's more than IT company, but it's a company that does a lot of technology for the senior industry, especially, and in the nonprofit sector, actually.
Okay.
She really does help all of the nonprofit senior communities with technology, and not just computer networks or Wi-Fi, but really truly like how everything works. And that might be somebody you want to reach out to since you're very involved in technology. And,
well, there are some things
really
that we
amazing.
need to fix. Yeah. What we should tell her is to tell the community she's helping that there are companies hijacking their information. So I can't mention names, but ABC company has you sign a contract with them so that they can place people in your senior building, right? But what they do online is they pretend to be you. So when they look for Sunrise Senior Living, for instance, they're not getting them. They're getting someone else. You click it. You go to this other website. You think you're in Sunrise. You're not. And now they own you. They planted cookies. They data mine. They sell all your information. And they give it out to about 20, 30 communities in your area so that they can get paid. It's totally unethical. And it needs to be stopped. And so all of these senior communities need to look online once in a while and see their names, click on it and see if it's going to their site. I have found so many communities not looking at their sites because it's not even them. It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah. I hate it. And they try to do it to me. I said, yeah, no, cease and desist.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then, but that's one of the things that I feel that we're trying to explain to people. So and it's not only in the senior living, but many other verticals where we create those, websites that helps you get sales. But at
Right.
the end of the day, you don't own anything, and you're just at the mercy of whatever you're being fed. And so
Right.
what we're trying to tell people is like, marketing is a bit of a grind. Digital marketing is a bit of a grind. It's like
Right.
there is no, it's not a sexy thing.
No.
It's a grind, but
Necessary.
and necessary, and you need to own you need to own your marketing, so that way you can do the changes you want. And it's a long-term thing, and but once you have it, the big thing is that it compounds. So
Right.
everything that you do, keep building. So I always give the analogy that it's like a hot air balloon. I don't know if you ever tried. I did it once, and I sat there and I look at the balloon all flat, and they start like inflating it, and I'm like, "My goodness, how long is that gonna take?" And it's like
Right.
30 minutes, 40 minutes, and it's starting to get big. But so
Right.
at the beginning it takes time. So anything digital marketing takes time, but once it starts building, you're like, "Wow, okay, now we're talking."
Right.
And
But
that's
it's
kind of how
exactly
it
what you
works.
said. You have to keep with it, though. You can't just build
Yes.
it and let it go. You can't
No,
do that.
because after same thing, if you let it go when you're on a hot air
Oh my
balloon, it
God.
kind of.
Yes, and we are constantly updating our site. We blog all the time. We write articles. We have thousands of articles on our site. These are all free. Anybody can go on our website and pull off anything they want. We have touring guides. We have all sorts of fun things because guess what? It helps people. I don't care. Take it, use it, have fun, but help people. That's the main goal. If everybody would just help others, the world would be a better place.
Yes,
That's
and
my philosophy.
that's one of the things also that I'm trying to do, is to find all those people and put them together. So I was
Yes.
talking about Parasol Alliance, amazing
Yes.
company, the Goodwin Living, amazing company.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah, and they do a lot. And there is the Sika Foundation. I don't know if you also
Sika. Cute.
CECA. Sorry, it's a foundation that helps actually nurse and people from senior living, but also hospitals, just people that give care, because during the pandemic,
Oh
everybody,
yeah.
it took a toll on everyone, but
Hmm.
specifically people providing care. And so this is a foundation to help recognize people, doing a good job, helping them, and then helping also companies and senior living communities, having people in a better mood, better health, because stress also affects
So we're
your.
talking more like self-care then, right? Teaching
Yes.
self-care.
Yeah, yeah, but it's really like, yeah,
We're
really
really bad
amazing.
at self-care. All the givers give and give and
Yes,
give and then forget, hey, don't forget they're supposed to you're gonna get. You gotta
and
get
that's kind of
something.
what Sika is doing. And
Yeah.
so
That's
it's
beautiful.
yes, yes, yeah, no, no. And then I've been having amazing conversations, so it's great. And that's one of the things that I'm always trying to do, is make sure that we find all these extraordinary people, helping, putting them together, because the more we are, the better. So
Well, if all the good people support all the good people, maybe we can keep the bad people out. That'd be nice. Because the
yes,
people that just are focused on paper, I mean money, that's not what good is it gonna do you? Like money, you need money. Everybody needs money. Don't get me wrong. I'm
everybody.
not I'm not, independently wealthy. I wish I was because then Elderworks would be further along. But if people would just sit back and think, how can I make an impact? How can I help others? The money will come. It
Yes,
will come. As long as you have a good product and a good service, it will come. But if you do things for the wrong reason, it's going to implode eventually. It's not going to, it'll maybe take off, but eventually it's going to go because you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
At least
And
I think so.
yeah, no, no, no. I agree. It's a balance. It has to be a
Yes.
good balance,
Mm,
and we have to think about balanced, yeah,
yes.
balanced service. And so you're doing, this amazing work. How do you see things evolving? I would say in the next 5 years for senior living, because we talked about affordability.
Hmm.
We don't really know what's happening this year in terms of affordability for everybody. And we see technology that hopefully will help, not replace people, but help caregivers have more time to give care,
Right.
and not do like all the typing. And also we have a client at Pentelope that is a AI recording that uploads everything to the EMR, so the electronic
Hmm.
medical records. And
Hmm.
so same thing. The idea is like, you take your phone, turn on the app, talk with the patient, and everything gets recorded, analyzed, organized, and sent to the EMR. So that way you don't have to focus like, oh, let me write that. Oh, let me write
Right.
this. Or, you have some doctors,
So
they're
nice.
behind the computer and they're like, and they just type.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the idea. So that's, one of the things that I like. But so how do you see, the next 5 years in senior living?
Well, as a whole, senior living, I mean, senior living is a great industry. It really is. I think a lot of the big players are moving out of being the big player, selling off some of their assets because it just became too big and they lost control. I do see a lot of the larger senior living operators putting a lot of pressure on their employees, their regionals, and then it goes down, right? It's a trickle down effect. And the problem with that is you're losing your good employees. It is very expensive to find a good employee, right? There's a lot of employees, mediocre employees, and then there's good employees. If you can keep your good employees, you will be better off than churning and having them leave because you're doing the micromanagement. They're not focused on, again, the seniors moving in. They're focused on their paperwork and their numbers and all of the business aspect of it. Yes, it's necessary, but is it necessary to give up the personalized interactions? The most successful people I've ever met in senior living knew their residents. They knew their members, they knew their residents, they knew their patients. They had good rapport with them. And those people felt heard, those people that lived there, they felt heard, they felt loved, they felt supported. And then corporate changes, right? Other people come in, and these really good employees are pushed out. They're beat up so much, they're pushed out. And then these great buildings that we had, we loved these buildings, we really did, started to have cracks in care. They hired directors of nursing that were less expensive. They hired marketers that were less expensive and less. They're younger, and there's nothing wrong with being young, but they're in terms of this industry. Seniors don't look at a 20-something-year-old person as an expert typically, right? They push everybody out that was good. So the building that was full for 20 years, no longer full. Hard. It's hard now. It's hard to keep the people happy. It's hard to keep the people there. It's hard to keep employees because they churned them. What I see in the next 5 years is the next 3 years are going to, suck because the world is a mess. The industry is a mess. But I think in about 3 years, they're going to get their heads out of their tuchuses and they're going to go, oh, people matter. Let's invest in our people. Because if we invest in our people and our people are happy, then our members and our residents are going to be taken care of and they're going to be happy. What a concept. You have to support your employees. You have to support them financially. I mean, you don't have to give them the world, but you have to pay them reasonable amount. You have to provide continuing education and provide that reinforcement that they are good and appreciated. The appreciation factor is one of the biggest things people overlook.
Yeah.
A thank you goes 1,000. Like, thank you so much for stepping up and helping out versus, hey, you did your job, now go do this. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
I don't know what you think is going on, Alex, but that's my viewpoint.
That's what I was asking. But that could be another education of managers education on how to get employees happy and team members happy and
don't hire warm bodies. Why are you hiring a warm body? What good is that? Right?
Work on people.
Oh my God. I got stories.
No, I know.
I could be here for years. Anyway.
And then, so I have one last question, and I kind of know the answer, but wanted to hear it from you.
Sure.
So, what advice would you give to a family beginning the process of exploring senior living options?
Depending on who it is looking, right? If it's the person, it doesn't really matter. Do your research. Find someone like Elderwerks. If you don't want to use Elderwerks, fine. Find someone who cares about you and not the money, right? Find someone who is an expert in the area that knows the housing available to you and what's best for you. Tour again. tour at different times. Make sure they're your people. If you move into a building, you're going to be living with these people. So if you don't like them when you walk in, you think you're going to like them when you live there? Mm-mm. No,
Mm.
everybody has a different lifestyle. We all do. Some people want to be busy all the time. Some people want to have a nice, quiet building. But you have to find your support system because they're going to be with you till the end, right? And that is the most important aspect of senior living. It's not just a place to live, it's a place to thrive. And that is what I want for all my seniors. I want them to thrive wherever they live. I don't care where they live, but I don't want them to be depressed or lose themselves because they just couldn't move forward. Take that leap of faith because everything's fixable. If you hate that senior building, guess what? You can move. You can
Yeah,
move again. If
for
they
sure.
do a bait and switch on you, they can move again. If you're going to do a buy-in, make sure you have an attorney looking at that contract. Actually, an attorney should look at all the contracts because there's a lot of contracts that are favorable to senior living and not, or senior living providers versus the resident. And we need to make sure they're protected as well.
So it's always be proactive, check before, take the time. Doesn't matter if it's in a couple of years, but at
Right.
least
Start looking
get
now.
information. Exactly. And so
Look and see what you like. Here's the thing.
Elderworks, look
Yeah.
on the website before
Yeah.
calling because, I know how many calls did you say you were managing per?
We take in about 39,000 phone calls and emails a year.
That's pretty crazy. So if you
Hmm.
guys can just take a minute, look at the website, all the amazing info that you have,
Yeah.
and then call because
Call with
seems that
questions. Yeah.
you have it pretty under control on the process side of things.
Yes. And going to look at housing without knowing what you want or what you're looking at is kind of counterproductive. If you have all the time in the world and you're bored, feel free, enjoy yourself. You're going to be doing it for a long time. We have 900 properties in our network. You want to go see 900 properties? I don't think so.
No.
How about we figure out what's best for you and then you go tour? My dad turned 60, he's now 83. I told him every year we're going to talk about next year and what you want. Because today you might be fine, but what about tomorrow? You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So you
Yeah.
need to be prepared and make sure, please, God, talk to your children, talk to the people that are going to help make decisions with or for you. Because if they don't know what you want and they're going to make a decision for you because you can't make it, you are going to be unhappy.
Yeah, but it's a hard thing to do because I lived it not with my parents but with my grandfather, who refuses to understand that he's getting old and he's 95
I love
and
that.
does not want. No, but he's incredible.
Stubborn.
I
Yeah.
wish I like that. He's my example for the future of how to grow old. He
Yeah.
was playing tennis like until he was 80 something.
Beautiful.
Pretty crazy, yeah. But yeah, he refuses, and a lot of the time is that they refuse to kind of see the reality of things, and like your children are here to help you. It's kind of like how the wheel turns. You're a baby, you take care of your kids, and then you hopefully take care of your kids well enough so that way when they grow older,
They can
they are
help you.
happy to help you. No, they are happy to, or they want to
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
That's kind of like
Well,
the
people need
idea.
to remember that your parents are still not your children, right? And they're still adults and they still have, if they have decisional capacity, they get to make their decisions good, bad, or ugly. So if you want someone to think about the possibilities that are there for them, whatever that possibility is, you have an open discussion of, hey, did you know? Maybe take them to lunch, maybe have them go out with some friends and take a look at things. But having them have that idea and ownership of it is the most important aspect of it. Because if they don't have ownership of it, they will not be happy. They'll let you know.
So you even give negotiation classes, it seems, with Elderworks, how to negotiate with your aging parents.
Well, my parents don't listen to me much, but everybody else's parents listen to me. It's
Okay.
it's quite interesting.
Well, that could be another education,
Oh, we do a
uh,
lot of education. We sure do.
on negotiating with your parents.
Yeah, we do
That's
that.
funny. The only good thing that I know is that my parents are more like that, very, the opposite of my grandfather, which is they're already prepared. And I'm like, guys, you have time. It's like, I know, but at least it's ready.
That's
So,
beautiful.
okay. Yeah,
Preparation is the key to success. Plan, plan, plan again, right? That
yeah,
is why we do education. That is why we do free classes. Everything we do for consumers is free. Everything. All of our classes, support groups, book clubs, all of our events, everything's free for seniors and their families. Because why? So they learn. And what do they need to learn? How to age well and plan for that future, whatever entails. sometimes the future can be beautiful. Sometimes the future can be scary. But if you don't step up and own it, someone's going to step up and do it for you. And that is not what anybody
No,
wants.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jennifer, it was a true pleasure speaking with like somebody with such a big heart and
Oh, thanks, Alex.
and a true entrepreneur spirit, because that's really the thing.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty beautiful combination. I really wish you all the best for all your endeavors and all these programs, and totally looking for maybe one of these days try that dementia reality,
Oh, you
virtual
should.
reality. Like it's
Very
interesting
fun.
to experience that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if you have a trainer, that does something, I'm happy to join in Florida. Or if you come, for a training event to Florida, happy to
Yeah.
mix.
We'll have to invite you down or wherever we're at.
Super. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Alex.